I hope you're having a good evening. You're watching NTV Tonight. Here is what you can expect in the next 60 minutes. Tonight, a man has killed his 14-year-old daughter.
Mtoto akasema auntie, mimi tayari mimi nimekufa kabisa. Sina vile ninapumua.
Her crimes: spending the night at her boyfriend's house and scoring 277 marks in KCPE. Also tonight, 94 of 95 candidates in one public school scored 400 marks and above. Cases of stellar performing public schools.
Every week we were doing 2 exams or 1, and it was a must to do an exam.
MPs meet and strategize.
We are not getting the proper service from the current provider. The current provider is very slow.
Greater benefits are seemingly a must happen for them. And resistance, support and drama in the 2/3 gender rule debate that MPs never concluded.
Unless we become clear on how these women are going to nominated.
If it is for the slave queens to slay their way into the National Assembly, to massage their way into the Senate, and slay their way into County Assembly, Honorable Speaker, then I do have some reservation.
When I hear members talking about slay queens, I would like to ask nominee number 001, now that he's a nominated member, can he tell this house whether he's a slay king?
NTV Tonight with Olive Burrows.
Remember, you can watch this broadcast live on ntv.co.ke/live, as well as on the NTV Kenya YouTube, Facebook and Twitter handles. Our sign language interpreter tonight is David Agondoa. Police in Bungoma County have launched a manhunt for Meshach Barasa and his wife Gertrude Barasa, who are suspected to have murdered their 14-year-old daughter for not only spending the night at her boyfriend's house, but also failing to attain the grade they had wished she would get in the exams. The girl scored 277 marks in the recently released KCPE results.
Friends, family and neighbors gather at the Barasa home in Musangura village Tuesday. Each of them resigned to their thoughts, wondering what could have driven parents to take the life of their own child. The lady of the home, Gertrude Barasa, currently in custody while her husband Meshach is believed to be on the run hours after beating their 14-year-old daughter to death. The young girl was being disciplined for spending the night away from her father's house and in the company of a young man.
Akapika simu, akaniambia nimempata. Nikamwambia umempata? Sasa kenye wewe utafanya, chukua mtoto ufanye nini? Ulete kwangu. Akasema tumempata na baba yake na baba yake anampika.
The lady on the other side, her sister-in-law, called 3 times again, each time Helen Nafula, the child's aunt, asking her to call the neighbors to come and save the situation. But the last call she made, she spoke with Abigail Namuhosi, the young girl who was on the receiving end of a beating from her father.
Mama na baba umenipika sana, mimi nimekufa. Hata wamenifunga kamba kwa miguu na kwa tumbo.
Neighbors say they could do nothing by the time they got to the home and found the girl on the floor.
Nilipata wamechapu mtoto anajivurutia chini. Sasa wakati alitoka nje, akalala hapo nje akaanza kuitisha maji. Hawakumpea. Sasa hiyo mvua venye ilianza ndiyo ikamnyesha, tukajaribu kuambia mama yake amtoe nje akakuwa mkali.
The mother is currently being held at the Kapchonge police station while the young girl's body is lying at the Kiminini Cottage Hospital. On Sunday, the deceased had been sent by her mother to deliver money to a relative at Ndalo Market, but failed to return home. She, however, surfaced on Monday, a move that irked the parents who decided to punish her. Leila Mohammed, NTV.
From that rather sad story to a much brighter one. Ikombe Day and Boarding Primary School's performance in this year's KCPE is a unique one. All but one of the candidates scored above 400 marks in the school located in Yatta Sub-County, Machakos County. NTV's Charity Mwangi visited the school, seeking to find out their secret to their brilliant performance.
Ikombe Day and Boarding Primary School is a public school. Celebrations resonated all around the school, as would happen in any other school shortly after the release of the KCPE results. In any other schools, the focus would be the top pupil. However, it is difficult to pick the best pupil when all the students achieve over 400 marks, save for one who managed 399 marks. Patrick Momo managed position 72 out of 95 in his school in the just concluded KCPE exam. He had 409 marks, which may have led in many schools in the country. Here, he had 71 colleagues ahead of him. He says he and his colleagues worked hard and smart.
Every week we were doing 2 exams or 1, and it was a must to do an exam. We were performing so well. Our exams were standardized from the first exam, and so they were training us on how the KCPE will be.
Their collective performance fueled by motivated staff with expectation of perks for performing teachers sponsored by the Board of Management.
Having registered 94 A's, that is 47,000 for that particular subject. And again, you'll find maybe a teacher might be teaching 2 or 3 subjects. So by the end of the year, you will expect to get a good amount of money. For example, last year I was teaching English and I registered 90 A's out of the 95. So that translates to 45,000. And again, I was also teaching science where I registered 80 A's, that is 40,000.
Alongside the motivation by the reward of the A's and the target, we are also expecting the Board of Management to allow us fly to Dubai.
Inspiration is all over school, but more inspiring are the teachers who continue to invest in this year's champions who have earned them more than just pride.
My advice to the candidates is when they go inside of schools, let them work hard as they have been working so that they can live a straight end, that is after 4 years.
Their methods this year really did inform their strategy next year because it has proven to work.
And here is another public school success story from Kiambu County, Kikuyu Sub-County. Utafiti Primary School, situated in Muguga Forest, had 59 students out of 167 score over 400 marks. NTV Seth Olale reports that apart from Utafiti, schools situated in Kibera and Kayole slums also had something to smile about after producing top students in this year's Kenya Certificate of Primary Education exams.
Gabriel Njiraini, the top pupil at Utafiti Primary School, who scored 444 marks, celebrated by jubilant teachers and parents upon arrival at the institution. Michelle Mwangi managed 439 marks and is the top female student.
Cope with the environments, challenges, just move on, because no place is smooth in life.
Furthermore, you should put God first, because I believe that with God, everything is possible.
Utafiti, a public day and boarding primary school that borders the vast Muguga Forest in Kiambu County, is also celebrating its best ever performance in 25 years of existence after 59 out of 167 pupils scored above 400 marks to post a mean grade of 374. In addition, 166 pupils scored 250 marks, leaving only one candidate below the 250 mark.
And we are not even going to relax. We are promising even we are going to break this record next year.
The school, which was established in 1993 and has a population of 1,600 pupils, has been dominating the county's overall school performance, having also produced a top student last year in Thiona Wangeshi, who scored 445 marks. In the capital, Nairobi, parents, teachers and pupils from various schools situated in Kibera took to the streets to celebrate top students who scored over 430 marks.
To be afraid and to always believe in what they are doing, and they should always remember God.
New Light School in Kayole fitted its best achievers with 49 pupils out of 137, scoring above 400 marks, led by Calvin Kipngeno, who scored 440 marks.
These teachers here are full of wisdom and knowledge, and anyone who is listening to me out there should know that they are of utmost value.
As celebrations for 2018 top KCPE pupils continue countrywide, the launch of the Form 1 selection is set for 3rd December 2018, paving way for pupils to begin receiving their secondary school invitation letters. Seth Olale, NTV, Utafiti Primary School, Kiambu County.
Top performers in this year's Kenya Certificate of Primary Education continue to celebrate their performance in the just-released KCPE exams. Top pupils from various schools joined their parents and teachers in celebrating the fruits of their hard work. Rose Wangoi brings us the highlights of these celebrations from across the country.
Riding high on his former schoolmates' shoulders is Rawlings Odhiambo. He's one of 2 students who had the best performances in the 2018 KCPE exams, and the cheers and celebrations tell it all. Rawlings Odhiambo from Kakamega High School scored 453 marks to tie at the top with Olive Burrows from Riara Road Primary School. Teachers and parents, led by the director, Salfa Omulisia, burst into song and dance. Rawlings said prayer and hard work had enabled him perform well in the exam.
I was surprised to see that I had 453. I was very excited.
Emmanuel Springs Academy in Makueni County produced the second best KCPE boy in the country. Victor Mumanyi, who hails from Mukuru kwa Jenga slums in Nairobi, scored 452 marks. Pupils, parents and teachers sang in jubilation. These young heroes had returned good results. Mumanyi hopes to join Mango School and later pursue medicine.
First it was prayer, the support I had from my teachers and my fellow pupils.
Still in Makueni, teachers and students of the county school celebrated the exemplary performance of Mary Mbinya, who scored 443 marks to emerge the best student. There were also celebrations at St. Mary's Primary School in Molo, Nakuru County. Girls carried the day with the best garnering 451 marks. Ivy Wanjiku Njoroge was the 3rd best student countrywide. She also emerged the top candidate in Molo and Kuresoi sub-counties. In Garissa County, girls continued to shine in the KCPE exams for the 2nd year in a row after years of dominance by boys. In Al-Azhar Primary School, out of 14 pupils who scored above 400 marks, 8 were girls. Omihan Abdi from Munarak Academy emerged the best student. In ACK Primary School, 6 girls were among the top 10 candidates. In Kajiado County, pupils, parents and teachers of Acacia Crest School in Kitengela broke into song and dance as the institution celebrated top achievers. Samantha Bett bagged 444 marks to emerge the top student in the county. Still in Kajiado, joyous celebrations were held at Kenwick Academy in Ngong, where 13-year-old Kevin Keremi Kanyi scored 441 marks. Kutus Municipality in Kirinyaga produced the top candidate in the county. Ashley Wamboi Mwai scored 447 marks. She hopes to join Kenya High. Parents whose children are studying at St. Muiruti in Bungoma County have threatened to transfer their children from the school after the institution performed poorly in this year's KCPE exams. Out of the 168 candidates who sat for the 2018 KCPE exams, only 37 scored 250 marks and above. The parents are blaming the government for not employing enough teachers in the school. Ruzongoi, NTV.
More celebration, 61 out of 68 candidates from Silowame Education Center based in Mukuru kwa Njenga scored 350 marks and above in the Kenya Certificate of Primary Education exams.
Silom Education Center produced 61 candidates with the pass mark of over 350 marks, with the last one having scored 324 marks. An unprecedented performance in the school, which is situated in the heart of the slum.
Wamekuwa wakisoma kwa bidii sana, wakidurusu kwa muda mrefu sana. Na washukuru hata wazazi kwa ile kazi ambayo wamefanya. Wamekuwa karibu sana. Wakati tuliwahitaji walikuja.
Despite the fact that the school banned 2 days before the KCPE exams, Amaliani Boniface Musira, a student who saved his parents when a building collapsed, emerged the best with 412 marks, followed by Philip Recho Mudeu, who scored 408.
Nijiandaa vizuri, pange kwenda kwa Butere Boys. Alafu nataka kuwa nikiwa mkubwa nataka kuwa daktari.
The headmistress of the school say the school has been doing well since it started sitting KCPE in 2004. Together with the teachers, they ensure the student had a conducive environment for learning.
Mkuru kwa Njenga slums ambao huwa tunapitia changamoto mingi sana. Juzi mlisikia changamoto ambayo ilichoma shule yetu towards kufanya mtihani, na watoto kama sio hiyo moto pengine wangefanya vizuri zaidi.
The headmistress urged the government to consider facilitating students from low-income areas and equipping their institutions.
Our school motto is
Fatuma Bugu, NTV.
Ganjoni Primary School, one of the public schools in Mombasa, not only posted exemplary performance in this year's KCPE exams, but also produced 9 pupils who scored more than 400 marks. The school, where 166 candidates sat for their exams, also recorded a mean score of 309. NTV's Kevin Mutai from Mombasa brings us the details and celebrations from various schools across the coast region.
Parents, pupils and teachers at Ganjoni Primary School in Mombasa in high spirits, and here Faith Achieng carried the mantle after topping the list of the best scorers, garnering 426 marks. The school registered a total of 166 candidates in the just concluded KCPE exams, and Faith was joined by 9 others who scored more than 400 marks. Cleophas Obengele at St. Anthony Claret in Shanzu was the reason celebrations filled the air as the neighborhood congregated in the school to celebrate his 410 marks. Cleophas said it was the result of hard work and perseverance. He advised other pupils to respect their teachers while in school and put God first for the doors to success to open. In St. Agnes Academy in Voi, Taita Taveta County, Jane Mutuku scored 430 marks. She says that she hopes that she will secure a position at Kenya High for her secondary education. Elsewhere, Jasho Quinta at the Little Stars Kimeni posted 422 marks. Quinta says that she wants to be a neurosurgeon in future after completing her education. The school's head teacher Ismail Amakoba said that only one pupil recorded less than 250 marks. There were celebrations in various schools across the coastal region, but Hassan Wanini Mvurya, the son of Kwale Governor Salim Mvurya, emerged the top candidate in the region with 440 marks. Zekunze Primary School in Kilifi County, one of the public schools in a semi-arid area in Ganze constituency, also produced some of the top candidates. Kevin Mutai, NTV, Mombasa.
Well, from exam matters to parliamentary matters, some National Assembly members are pushing for a medical cover provider who would cater for more than one wife as they seek to do away with the provider they have now. This came up in a Speaker's Kamkunji earlier Tuesday as MPs also discussed the 2/3 gender bill and the Parliamentary Service Commission bill, where they sought common ground. Kennedy Mureithi with more details on this very interesting story.
For about 2 hours Tuesday morning, MPs were locked in their chamber for a meeting called by the Speaker of the National Assembly as they sought to cure a myriad of issues, including the medical cover they are getting now. The MPs want a change.
We are not getting the proper service from the current provider. The current provider is very slow.
you go to seek for medical services in a hospital, they will keep you waiting for 15 minutes, for 20 minutes, making calls here and there. And we have just said that as a clan, we need a better person, we need a better services.
The sentiments are echoed by many who feel like they are not getting the best. The current provider is MS Liaison Healthcare Limited, and for the MPs to change, they only need to give them a 1-month notice. Sources within the Kamkunji, which in English means an informal meeting, however, tell NTV some MPs are pushing for the next provider to offer cover for more than one spouse. One reportedly said that both his wives played a critical role in helping him seek votes in the run-up to the elections, and one is not happy that she has to use cash to seek medical attention, while the other enjoys the full benefits of the medical cover offered by Parliament.
That didn't come up. And if it's an issue, we have a subcommittee that handles them, not within the plenary.
Through the Parliamentary Service Commission bill before the House, there is a push to have the MPs access an enhanced medical cover that they hope will even cater for their extended families as a way of taking care of their well-being. While at the Blue Economy Function in Mombasa on Monday, President Uhuru Kenyatta called on parliamentarians to first take care of the needs of Kenyans before they sought to increase their benefits.
Sasa jameni, mwananchi ni maskini, hana hata ya kukula. Lakini akifungua gazeti anaona wajumbe wamejipatia pesa.
The MPs are also set to debate recommendations from the Justice and Legal Affairs Committee introduced in the Parliamentary Service Commission Bill 2018 that seeks to grant them government houses and cars or in its place allowances. The closest to be introduced are believed to have been sneaked in without public participation. Kennedy Muredi, NTV.
Staying with Parliament, deliberations by parliamentarians on the Constitution of Kenya Amendment Bill 2018 this afternoon were inconclusive as the House closed for business to continue on Wednesday. National Assembly Speaker Justin Muturi moved the sitting after a 3-hour-long debate. The bill seeks to ensure that the 2/3 gender principle is achieved through special seats to be determined after the results of a general election. NTV's Mel Miendo reports.
So the meeting today is a very...
According to the women MPs under the Kenya Women Parliamentary Association, KIWOPA, who met with the Editors Guild this morning, the enactment of this law is crucial to meeting the 2/3 gender rule stipulated in the Constitution. The women argued that excluding the 47 women representatives elected at county level...
Well, that story informs our opinion count question tonight. We ask you, should MPs pass the 2/3 gender rule bill? Send your yes or no answer to 20686 and start your message with your name and where you're from. The text messages are free of charge. That story on 2/3 gender unfortunately had a problem, but we will be bringing it to you as soon as we resolve that issue. The question again is, should MPs pass the 2/3 gender rule bill? Send your yes or no answer to 20686. Start your message with your name and where you are texting us from. The text messages are free of charge. That cues our break, but we'll be back with more stories. Thank you for staying with us. You're watching NTV Tonight. Now, on Opinion Count, we ask you, should MPs pass the 2/3 gender rule bill? Should MPs pass the 2/3 gender rule bill? Send your yes or no response to 20686. Start with either your yes or your no. Please also include your name and where you're texting us from. The text messages are free of charge. That is our Opinion Count question tonight. Well, staying with that question, deliberations by parliamentarians on the Constitution of Kenya Amendment Bill 2018 this afternoon were inconclusive as the House closed for business to continue on Wednesday. National Assembly Speaker Justin Muturi moved the sitting after a 3-hour-long debate. The bill seeks to ensure that the 2/3 gender principle is achieved through special seats to be determined after the results of a general election. NTV's Mel Miendo reports.
The second reading of the Constitution of Kenya Amendment Bill 2018 was largely supported in the National Assembly. There were some opponents, though.
This amendment, it roots on sovereignty of the people, spelled out under Article 1. The sovereignty of people is exercisable by Parliament through their representatives.
Indeed, even judicial authority is derived again from the people, from the same sovereign, but only to exercise it in accordance with the same constitution. And therefore, this particular bill is, in my view, properly before the House, and I so rule.
The bill seeks to amend Articles 90, 97 and 98 of the Constitution, which focus on the composition of members in the National Assembly and Senate. Its core is to ensure that the number of women nominated at any given time should be at least 1/3 of the total.
Those of us who are in the 10th Parliament, we will see the journey women have walked in our country and the progressive nature of the Kenyan voters. And Mr. Speaker, if they are loyal voters, and each member here will agree with me, if they are loyal voters in our constituencies and in our counties, they are the women voters.
I want to be very categorical that discrimination or disadvantaging any group of Kenyans in whichever way, whether they are disabled, whether they are youth, whether they are women or men, that must be corrected and corrected the earliest time possible.
The Duale bill further proposes that once an election is finalized and gender numbers known, then the right number of women is to be nominated and shared by political parties depending on their strength in the National Assembly. The Ministry of Public Service, Youth and Gender Affairs has voiced its commitment to ensure the full realization of the 2/3 gender rule.
We are asking for the National Assembly, if we don't have this 1/3 as women being in Parliament, then the voice of women cannot be heard in terms of decision making. And why are we saying that? Any research has already proved that if the number is so small, then their voice and their contribution cannot be adequate enough to make a difference. Therefore, we are just as a ministry trying to fulfill what Kenyans asked us to do.
In the 12th Parliament, the National Assembly has 75 women MPs, while the Senate has 3 elected women from the 47 counties. 18 are nominated.
And Mr. Speaker, if you read the report that we tabled in the House, we were able to demonstrate, Mr. Speaker, that this bill received overwhelming support from the Kenyan people.
Nonetheless, drama characterized submissions made by members of Parliament over just what the criteria of nominating women in Parliament and Senate will be.
And I know for a fact, Mr. Speaker, and I have evidence that there is a Secretary General of a party who nominated himself, his mother-in-law, and his second wife. So this is what we are saying, that unless we become clear on how these women are going to be nominated.
If these gender top-up slots will be for our daughters, our sisters, our wives, and our mothers,
then I do support 100%. But then, if it is for the slave queens to slay their way into the National Assembly, to massage their way into the Senate, and slay their way into County Assembly, Honorable Speaker, then I do have some reservation.
So, Mr. Speaker, when I hear members talking about slay queens, I would like to ask nominee number 001, now that he's a nominated member, can he tell this House whether he's a slay king? And which favors did he give to his political party to nominate him?
The House carries on with the debate on Wednesday. Mel Miendo, NTV.
Or the Honorable Shamala is not a slay king. He's doing great work with...
Now on to a story we've been keeping an eye on. 2 employees who worked for quack medic James Ndishumugo have been released on a cash bail of 200,000 shillings or a bond of 500,000 shillings each. The 2 are charged with several counts of operating a clinic illegally. 22-year-old Victor Kamunya and 19-year-old Rispa Auma denied 5 charges that were preferred against them, including operating a business at an illegal clinic while not registered as pharmacists, operating a medical laboratory without registration and license, practicing as unregistered and unlicensed medical practitioners, and practicing nursing and using the doctor title without qualification. Presiding Magistrate Martha Mutuku had ordered the detention of the 2 for 7 days before the pre-bail report that determined their release. To a bit of political drama, National Assembly Minority Leader John Mbadi has officially written to the clerk of the House directing all the monthly financial contributions of ODM members of Parliament to be deposited into the ODM party account and not the NASA coalition. This follows the decision by the management of Wiper Party to write to the clerk demanding its members monthly financial contributions as opposed to the initial NASA coalition agreement where part of the members' contributions were directly sent to the NASA coalition account.
Opposition coalition NASA seems to be going through turbulent times. NASA affiliate parties ODM, Wiper, Ford Kenya and ANC are now up in arms demanding their entire members' monthly contributions charged at 20,000 shillings per member. This is after the Wiper Party broke ranks with other affiliates and wrote to the clerk of the National Assembly demanding that entire monthly contributions of its members be channeled to the party and not to the NASA account. A move that spurred ODM into action with a similar demand.
ODM had made some resolution through a central committee that they wanted their deductions to go first to the party, then they would now contribute to NASA secretariat. So they wanted the entire contribution of 20,000 to go to the to ODM as a party, and that resolution was carried in a central management committee, and so it's binding in terms of directive.
This latest move seems to signal the urge by individual parties in NASA to go their separate ways. According to Mbadi, after receiving the money, ODM and other individual parties will contribute a portion of it to the NASA secretariat.
Felt that for decency, given that ODM is the largest party and Wiper is the second largest party, we would just, instead of now asking the clerk to treat ODM and Wiper differently, that we would have all the parties, including ANC and Ford Kenya, let the money go to the individual parties, and then now the individual parties deal with NASA coalition based on the agreement.
ODM has 61 legislators, Wiper 19, Ford Kenya 10, and ANC 14 legislators. Ever since the political truce between President Uhuru Kenyatta and opposition leader Raila Odinga took effect, other NASA affiliate parties have felt betrayed, causing sharp differences in the alliance. Such differences saw Ford Kenya party leader Moses Wetangula ousted from the position of Senate Minority Leader and immediately replaced with Siaya Senator James Orengo. Ever since, Ford Kenya has insisted that NASA is dead. Vincent Odur, NTV.
Well, on opinion count tonight, we asked you, should MPs pass the 2/3 gender rule bill? And we asked you to send your yes or no responses to 20686, 20686, a poll-free number. Let's look at some of the responses that have come in already. This is Joseph from Sagana. He says, no, women are the majority in the country. They can easily vote for the women candidates and get 90% of seats. Thus, the gender rule is immaterial. There's another view, this time from Albert Nderitu in Nakuru, who says there should be no shortcut to leadership positions. Let them vie and tell the electorate why they feel they are better than men. We also don't need more parliamentary seats. We're already overrepresented. As it stands, the poll is only 25% say yes, which MPs should pass the 2/3 gender rule bill, and 75% say no. Let's look at one more response before we take a break. We have Wayne Mwangi from Kiserian, who has a different opinion. He says, yes, it is imperative that the constitution and neutrality within judicial jurisdictions of the National Assembly be respected. Let us know, do you agree or disagree? Yes or no to 20686. There you go. There you have the numbers. 25%, as I said, yes is lagging behind, and 75% say no. You still have time to vote. Send those SMSs. Nairobi to New York, set to kick off on December 1st, 2018, will not be hampered by low demand, akin to the experience of the passenger flights. Last week, Kenya Airways was compelled to reduce the frequency of the daily flights to New York for the period November 2018 to March 2019, owing to low demand attributable to winter. Julian's Amboko reports.
Kenya Airways posted a 4 billion shilling loss in the first half of 2018, and though still in the red zone, that represented a 29% improvement from the same period in 2017. This improvement was driven in part by a 24% increase in revenue from transporting cargo, with 32,000 tons having been ferried over this period. The airline is now bullish that non-stop cargo flights to New York will support this performance.
We have gone through the entire regulatory clearances with the TSA, and we have been engaging our customers on the potential. So if I look at the demand in the pipeline, I think my worry now is that payload may become an issue, but the demand is certainly there.
The demand is also expected to come from beyond the borders as the airline angles itself to become the foremost choice of carrying cargo to the US from various African destinations.
I have this belief that since Kenya is the hub of East Africa, even the other countries will also be bringing their produce or products into Kenya for onwards transmission to the other region, to America.
A lot of our products, horticultural flowers, always have gone through Europe, and that is time lost. And remember, these are perishable goods. So it means a lot more cost, working on all manner of technology to preserve. So this shortens all that, and so means more traffic of our products this way and more fresh products that would come to the US market from Kenya.
With the direct non-stop flight billed as a game changer on the trade facilitation front, however, headwinds being faced by the horticulture sector called for cautious optimism. According to the Kenya Flower Council, the sector, which earned Kenya 115 billion shillings in export revenue in 2017, could punch below its weight due to challenges being faced especially in the flowers subsector.
Currently, we are dealing with the issue of fertilizer. We are making headways, but we are still not out of the woods yet. The effect of this shall be seen, especially as we move into Christmas and also into the Valentines. We believe that it may have some effect on the volumes that we are likely to churn out of this country.
As the clock ticked towards December 1st, 2018, management at the national carrier has crossed its fingers that the launch of the non-stop cargo flights will take off without a hitch, opening up a new frontier of revenue streams for the pride of Africa. Julian Samboko, NTV.
The government needs to follow through on policies aimed at paving the way for the manufacturing sector to grow as envisioned in the country's medium-term plan, or else fail to achieve its target. The contribution of the manufacturing sector to GDP, which is targeted to be 15% within the next 4 years, reduced last year when compared to 2016. Over the last decade, Kenya's manufacturing base has remained static at 11% of GDP, and her industrial exports have decreased in absolute terms.
The country should aim at strengthening the capacity and local content of domestically manufactured goods. Kenya's manufacturing sector contribution to GDP has been declining in the past 10 years. In 2017, the sector contributed 8.37% to the GDP, a further decline from 9.2% in 2016.
We had seen rates of about 11% in previous 10 years, but as we've mentioned, our current rate of growth in the last year was about 8.4%, which basically means other segments and other sectors of the economy are growing faster, and growing faster than manufacturing.
Kenya is set to get a major boost in its hospitality industry as more than 10,000 delegates have confirmed attendance at the first ever Sustainable Blue Economy Conference, which will take place in Nairobi next week. At least 11 heads of state are set to jet in, as well as hundreds of dignitaries, which means that traffic disruptions will be the order of the day in the central part of the capital during the conference. An update on the number of confirmed delegates puts them at 11,571 from 180 nations.
The countdown to one of the most highly anticipated events in the country this year has begun. Next week, Nairobi will play host to the inaugural Global Sustainable Blue Economy Conference, which seeks to harness the potential of oceans, seas, lakes and rivers to improve the lives of all, particularly those in developing countries. 9 signature events with a Leaders Commitment segment, a Leaders Circle, a Business Forum and Private Sector Forum, a Governors and Mayors Convention, a Research and Science Symposium, a Civil Society Forum, a Diaspora event, a number of side events, including more than 60 exhibitions. Kenya, like many other developing nations, is one of the countries that has made little headway in formalizing the manner in which it reaps economically from its water bodies. The delegate count for the conference is expected to stretch the capital city's facilities for hospitality and at the same time provide a boon for the economy. 180 countries have already confirmed attendance. 11 of these delegations are going to be led at the head of state level. As at yesterday, we have a registration of 11,571 participants and delegates. Clearly, great enthusiasm from across the world. Speaking in Nairobi today, Juma said that Kenya, which is co-hosting the event with Japan and Canada, has received 300 million shillings and 200 million shillings respectively from the two countries. China has pledged 20 million shillings, Ireland 10 million shillings, Norway 50 million shillings, Qatar 50 million shillings, and South Africa with 8 million shillings. Other countries which have supported Kenya are Sudan with 5 million shillings, the United Kingdom with 33 million shillings, Oman with 10 million shillings, Portugal with 10 million shillings, Fiji with 500,000 shillings. Organizations such as the Ocean Foundation have supported Kenya at a tune of 150 million shillings and the Food and Agricultural Organization at 10 million shillings, amongst others. We have shown the world that no challenge is too great when a common goal binds us together. Kenya's maritime sector contributes a mere 2.5% to the GDP. This event that is slated for next week is expected to attract at least 10 foreign leaders and thousands of experts who are going to be holding deliberations on how Kenya can unlock the potential of the blue economy. Lillian Kerry, reporting for NTV Business.
That cues our next break. We'll be back shortly.
Invest sharp. Call 07.
With NTV tonight. There was drama at Eldoret Police Station when 2 members of Parliament from West Pokot County stormed the station, demanding the release of a suspect who was arrested in connection with a recent killing along the boundary of West Pokot and Elgeyo Marakwet County. As Gabriel Kudaka reports, the legislators claim the arrest could spur retaliatory attacks.
Tuachie hiyo kazi kufanya. Waheshimiwa, tuachie hiyo kazi kufanya. So you cannot direct the police vile wanataka kufanya kazi.
Lakini kama pia wafanye kazi na haki, lazima tuseme. Bwana kama lazima tuseme ndugu yangu.
Just keep monitoring lakini
tunafanya haki, tuseme tunafanya haki. Haki gani? Mnashika mtu mmoja alikuwa kiateka. Hii itakuwa historia katika Kenya hii.
For more than an hour, 2 members of parliament and other politicians from West Pokot County engaged the Uasin Gishu County Police Commander over the arrest of a suspect who was taking care of his injured brother at the Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital in Eldoret. Jackson Kibet's brother is said to have sustained injuries in a previous banditry attack that left 3 people dead at Chepkog village in West Pokot County.
And we are asking Inspector General to release, first of all, to release this boy who is in cell today unconditionally, so that at least there is calm. We can have peace in our places.
We are saying this is not going to be good, and it's going to bring a lot of tension among these communities, and this is not going to promote peace.
The members of parliament further alleged that there was a scheme to kill the injured man who is nursing injuries at the hospital.
Only report that we have heard that somebody has an attempt, we will want to come and attempt to finish somebody in the hospital.
The county police commander Augustine Thumbi refuted claims by the legislators, accusing them of interfering with their work.
Tuachie hiyo kazi kufanya. Waheshimiwa, tuachie hiyo kazi kufanya. So you cannot direct the police vile wanataka kufanya kazi.
Gabriel Kudaka, NTV.
Ahead of this break is Brian Otwal with the sports news.
is Brian Otwal. World marathon record holder Eliud Kipchoge is now the only remaining Kenyan athlete among the 5 finalists for the 2018 Male World Athlete of the Year. Kipchoge will battle 4 other world beaters from 2018 season for the top award. They include American 100-meter sprinter Christian Coleman, pole vaulter Armand Duplantis from Sweden, decathlon athlete Kevin Mayer of France, as well as 400 meters hurdler Abdelrahman Samba from Qatar. Kipchoge will be seeking to become the second Kenyan athlete to win the award after the current world 800 meters record holder David Rudisha, who claimed it in 2010. World 3000 meters steeplechase record holder Kenya's Beatrice Chepkoech has made it to the final 5 athletes vying for the 2018 IAAF Female Athlete of the Year award. And Kenya's representatives at this year's FIBA Women Africa Club Championships, Kenya Ports Authority and Equity Bank Hawks qualified for the quarterfinals after picking crucial wins. KCPE beat MB2 from Madagascar 73-65 in Group B match, picking their second victory after finishing 3rd in the group. Jamila Zama scored a game-high 18 points, while Cynthia Irankunda was second with 14. Equity Bank also qualified for the last 8 following an 84-75 victory over Victoria Club from Congo. Belinda Okoth scored game-high 20 points, while Celine Okumu had 19. The preliminary matches conclude on Wednesday before the team takes a rest on Thursday ahead of the knockout matches on Friday. The under-23 national football team will now shift their focus to the second round of the Africa Cup of Nations qualifier, where they will take on Seychelles or Sudan, who are currently playing in their second leg fixture in Khartoum. The emerging stars arrived back from Mauritius after qualifying for the second round of the Olympics qualifiers on an 8-1 aggregate score, having won 3-1 in Mauritius. The second round tie will be in March 2019, with the third round lined up. The aggregate winner will join hosts Egypt at the Cup of Nations finals in November next year. Top 3 teams at the 8-team championship will represent Africa at the 2020 Olympic Games in Tokyo, Japan.
8 goals, it's good. We looked more motivated for the first challenge, but now we go to the second challenge. So completely new environment with a new opponent. So we have to put everything aside.
If you get a comfortable win as we did, going to play away, it's much easier. It relieves the pressure, and I think the win at home, it really helped us.
And former Gor Mahia head coach Dylan Carr has joined South African Premier Soccer League side Black Leopards just days after submitting his official letter of resignation. Carr replaces Joel Masuta, who threw in the towel last week due to poor results. The Englishman led Gor to 2 league titles during his 16th-month reign, winning 51 matches, 16 draws and 12 defeats in 79 games. Black Leopards, founded in 1983, were promoted to the top flight this season and are ranked at position 14 on the 16-team PSL table with 9 points. They have only won twice this season after 11 rounds of matches. And former Kenya Sevens captain Humphrey Kayange has been elected Stanbic Mwamba FC secretary during the club elections. George Mbaye and Anthony Karanja retained their seats as the chairman and treasurer respectively. The 3 officials were elected unopposed in an exercise held at Railways Club. Kayange was in May elected unopposed as athletes representatives to NOC, that is the NOC board. He was also appointed into the board of the Kenya Academy of Sports Council. And the KCB Bank is the title sponsor of this year's Kenya Volleyball Federation National Playoffs, scheduled to take place from 1st to 3rd December at the Kasarani Indoor Arena. The bank has injected 1 million shillings towards the event's prize pass and preparations. The playoffs that kick off on a Saturday has attracted 4 ladies teams in Kenya Prisons, KCB, Kenya Pipeline and Bungoma, while the men's teams include Prisons Kenya, KDF, KPA and GSU. KDF men will face off with Kenya Prisons men during the opening match on Saturday, followed by KCB ladies clash with Kenya Prisons. The top teams in each category will represent Kenya during the next year's Africa Club Championships in Cairo, Egypt.
KCB's entry was at the right time. We are very excited about it. We have cash awards now. We can promise the team, the winning teams, there will be substantial cash awards to them. And this will make the event even more exciting.
KCPE has been a supporter of sports for a very long time, and therefore even with this volleyball that we are giving the sponsorship basically is to allow the sport to be more competitive and also allow the players to give their best. So I would like to ask all the fans of volleyball, the stakeholders, to come and support their teams this weekend as we ensure that the players are able to give their very best and that we get the winners out of all the 8 teams, because we know that volleyball is also a very good match and also popular with the public.
And a total of 25 drivers are set to take part in the off-road 4x4 Champagne Challenge this weekend at the Champagne Park in Kipeto, Kajiado County. This month's edition will see the introduction of extra stages totaling to 8 in each of the 3 categories, with high-profile drivers, including the current leaders at the expert stage, Gurashish Singh and Steve Wayaki, battling for top honors. The challenge, which has attracted significant interest from Kenyan enthusiasts, will also have participants and fans engaged in tug of war, among other sporting events.